Hello everyone, welcome back. I am very excited today. As you can see, I have a brand new out of game and I will actually be showcasing a brand new in-game overlay. This is awesome, helps me get a little more of a professional look, and yeah, so you guys can also see any of my links, so you guys can follow if you happen to like the casts, or even if you don't, you can leave some feedback at any of those places. But without further ado, we are going to be swapping into the game. We are going to have a best of 5 here on our hands from the IEM Ketawice. And it's going to be between mouzMana and LiquidTLO. So, on Cloud Kingdom, we're going to have our blue Zerg player, LiquidTLO. One of my favorite Zergs to watch, just because he is so inventive with his play. It's absolutely awesome. And in the bottom left, we're going to have mouzMana. And as I mentioned, this is a best of 5 from the most recent IEM Ketowice, I believe it's pronounced. I'm not 100% sure, as I am not Polish. But it was an awesome tournament. If you missed it, you should definitely go back and watch the VODs, any replays. And of course, watch the rest of this best of 5, as this will be 5 great games, hopefully, assuming, I guess, that the best of 5 does go to 5 games. Anyways, we have a pretty standard, looks like Mana is going to be gearing up for a Forge Fast Expand, as we do see the pylon on the low ground, which typically signifies some sort of Forge, Gateway, Cybercore, Cannon, and the interesting thing to usually note is whether they go for the Forge first or they go for the Nexus first, as that's a very big difference. It basically will just show you know, what type of play are they going for. They're going to go for more of a macro-oriented play. We do see a 14 pool coming out of LiquidTLO here, and this is pretty standard. This just lets you get out, you know, a Zergling, maybe 2 batches of Zerglings, so 4 total, just to deal with, well, this guy right here, this annoying little probe, as he's going to try and more than likely pylon block, dance around this area, and just make sure that your hatchery cannot go down. And this is typically why we see, yes, and we do see mouzMana going for Nexus first, because he knows this drone is trying to get this down, and he's doing a great job just running around here. Not gonna lose it, but ooh, he does need to pull out. Oh, and he does lose the probe. That's not really something that you want to do as the Protoss player, but hey, he did deny quite a lot of time on that hatchery, so no complaints there, I'm sure, from our Protoss player. And I do think that this is going to just be a drone scout, unless TLO is going to go for an extremely greedy early third, and that's what it looks like, actually. We do see this drone making its way up, and it looks like he's going to go for a crazy early third. Typically, you're going to see this third come down around 4:20, anywhere to 5 minutes, just depending on your playstyle. Kind of, you know, if you want to invest in tech a little bit earlier, or economy. We do see the Forge down for Mana, as well as the Gateway. Nice little hold position probe. Cannon coming down, and this Nexus is going to finish substantially before this hatchery. And that's going to allow mouzMana to be just a little bit ahead. He is going to check for the third, does spot it, as we can see. TLO should be getting 1 to 2 gases here pretty soon. Second gas coming down from Mana as well, and TLO is going to spot this with this Overlord. Cybercore on the high ground, and this is such a cool little trick. I've even actually seen a few Protoss players, they will put this pylon here, put their Forge where the Cybercore is located, and then just go something like Gateway Cannon, and then it's like, well, wait, where's your Forge? And that way, you don't have to worry about in the later game, especially with this Forge being here, you can get a nice little row of roaches and actually just snipe off any sort of upgrades that might be going down. This pylon says to me, I am going to be warping in some buildings right here and hiding it as best as I possibly can from these Overlord scouts that TLO has quite conveniently positioned. Creep tumor coming out. This is very important on this map, to spread creep along this alleyway, because a lot of times people players playing Protoss will, you know, put down a proxy pylon, say here, and then try to push up through the third here, because you don't want to push up into through any ramps. That is just typically regarded as bad play. Warp gate coming down, as well as +1 armor. Stalker on the way. We do just see TLO droning up. Pretty good saturation so far on both bases. 2 gases being mined. Robo coming down, so we are not going to see any sort of Stargate play. This is kind of interesting because on Cloud Kingdom we've been seeing a lot more Stargate play recently out of Protoss players. Not 100% sure why, unless they just kind of feel that the Phoenix and the Void Rays can be abused bouncing in between the third and the main. Because right here it's really hard, you have to go all the way around as a Zerg player just to get back to it. We do see a Twilight Council coming out, so he is going to go into a quick +2, and this usually signifies, along with this Robo, that there is more than likely going to be some sort of 3 Immortal push, and no, we do see an Observer coming out first, so he might just try to expand onto a 3rd gateway. We do see this Overlord Scout coming in here. Metabolic Boost coming down for TLO at the 8-minute mark, a little bit slow, but we do see a 4th coming out, and this is not typically where you would see the 4th coming out of the Zerg player. It would more than likely be here, but I think he's actually feeling that he's kind of safe taking it there, as it's not typically where you would scout for it, so you don't really have to worry about it too terribly much being found out and sniped off. Double upgrades coming out, +1, and this is kind of interesting because typically you see more of a roach-centric style from our Zerg players nowadays, where you would need range attacks, but we do see a Baneling Nest coming down, and I did see in a recent interview with Chanman V, actually, that TLO has been favoring a lot of Baneling play against early aggression from the Protoss player, especially Immortal Sentry all-ins, as the Banelings can really, they're about as fast as the Roach, and they can do a ton of splash damage really quickly to these sentries, and really just sort of crush any sort of Immortal push. And he actually was mentioning he just loves to get out a ton of Zerglings, and basically surround the Protoss army, we'll say, with 3 little batches of Zerglings, and kind of just poke in and out and force out a ton of force fields all the way around the army. But we don't see any sort of Immortal push coming out. 3rd base scouted out by TLO, and not a terribly fast 3rd base. Could be much quicker. Seeing them as fast as 6 minutes, which I think is little on the greedy side, but hey, what do I know? Not much of a Protoss player, so nor am I at the level of someone like mouzMana. This 4th has been found out, though, by Mana, so he's going to feel really good about taking his 3rd. Might even feel like he can put on a little bit of pressure, as he does know TLO's been a little bit greedy. We do see Lings trying to take out these rocks, and we're going to see a whole bunch of Banelings maybe try to bust down. And a ton of Zerglings get coming in here. Oh no, and he just pulls back, trying to bait out some force fields, and he is going to try and snipe this 3rd. No, it does not work, though. And this is what I was talking about. Just Zerglings all over the place. He just kind of, you can spread out the Protoss army and really just sort of do whatever you want. So we see another little batch of Zerglings here. 5th coming down for TLO, and this is quite a hefty push coming out of Mana. Is he going to have enough to save this base? Oh my gosh, and a ton of Overlords being misrallied. The drones do get force fielded in, and it does look like he's just going to try and trade his base for base here. So we do see this hatchery is going to go down pretty easily, and a ton of Zealots being warped in, but it's just not going to be enough to deal with all of these Zerglings. And now we do see drops have already come out. Spire on the way, +2 to Blink for our Protoss player, and some Warp Prism Harass possibly going to go down as well. And does look like he's going to go for some Baneling drops here. It's very hard in a situation like this as the Protoss player. You don't know which Overlord is carrying what. You just sort of have to guess. A lot of these Overlords do get away, so that's pretty good. and he's just kind of trying to stall as he did snipe the third. And it does look like he's going to be, making some more banelings. Going to wait for this Protoss army to come up and get a great surround, as there's a very limited amount of force fields here from our Protoss player. And is he going to choose to engage? No, he's just sort of waiting for time. We do see a ton of drones being transferred, and now this warp prism is allowing him to just warp right in, and a ton of banelings get great connections. But against these immortals, they are just not that good, and this is a problem without roaches. Your Zerglings have quite a difficult time, especially trading with Zealots. Would love to see him utilize all of his army here, as he is in risk of losing his third, but he does know that he is still up 2 bases. And that's why we're going to see all of these drones pulled. It just doesn't matter. As long as he can hold on to this base, he's going to be so far ahead of mouzMana. Great micro here, picking up the Immortals, bringing them to the high ground, and now warping in on the high ground. The main has been cleared out. And we do see a ton of drones getting sniped off as well. These queens are going to try and get up there. And the supplies are fairly even, but it does look like TLO is kind of far behind. 2 Mutalisks coming out, but with this many Stalkers, I'm not sure that it's really going to matter, to be honest. He's losing a ton of drones, as we can see. 35 workers killed by Mana, and oh lord, TLO is in quite a difficult spot. He does thankfully have, still technically 3 mining bases up, more like 2 at the moment, but that is equal to his Protoss counterpart. We do see him GG out, and Game 1 is going to go to mouzMana in this best of 5. Thank you for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the second game in this best of 5.